Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. Really happy to be back here once again. And before we start off with today's daily immigration dose with none other than my co host Sam, I have this important disclaimer. And that is by watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. And now, yes, I am Nipasa Pradhan, your host, who will be joined by my co host, Sam. Hi, Sam. How are you today? Thank you for joining.
Hi, Napasa. I'm really happy, to back again with another very exciting episode. And also to all our lovely viewers, welcome to another very exciting episode of Daily Immigration Dose that is streaming live at 4 p.m. EST from Monday to Friday. And I think, yeah, today, we have a very exciting topic that we are going to talk about that is Trump's versus Biden's comparing their immigration and jobs policy. So, in today's session, we are going to talk deeply about how Trump's policy during immigration and how Biden handled the job policies and also the immigration policies. So, I think it's really going to be lots and lots of informative session, and we have lots of things to discuss. But I think before that, Napasa, it's always better, to have a quick update of the news. So, I think why don't we start with that, right?
Yeah, sure. Sure, Sam, let's go ahead with it. Let me do a quick one and then we
Sure.
can proceed with yours. So there is this latest news, the breaking news that's going on, and everybody I'm sure is aware of this, that police hunt for gunman after United Healthcare CEO killed in New York City. And it's a real devastating turn of events. Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was fatally shot outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan today morning, Wednesday morning. The shooting, which authorities are calling a brazen targeted attack, has left the business world in shock and has prompted a widespread manhunt for the gunman. Well, Thompson, who is 50, had been visiting New York for United Healthcare's annual investors conference when the tragedy occurred. He was walking toward the New York Hilton Hotel when the gunman approached from behind, shooting Thompson in the back and right calf before fleeing on an electric city bike. The shooter made his way toward Central Park, and police are actively pursuing leads to locate him. Brian Thompson, a longtime leader in corporate America, was appointed CEO of United Healthcare in 2021. He had been with the company since 2004 and previously led the company's government programs, which include its Medicare and retirement businesses. Thompson graduated as valedictorian from the University of Iowa in 1997 and was a star student athlete in high school. Earlier this year, Thompson had faced legal issues after being named in a high-profile insider trading lawsuit, which alleged he profited from undisclosed information about a federal investigation into United Health Group. Despite this, Thompson's career was marked by significant achievements, marking making his death all the more shocking. Well, talking about the details of the investigation, police are carefully examining key evidence, including shell casings and bullets found at the scene of the shooting. These forensic details are crucial for tracking down the weapon used and determining if the fireman has been involved in past crimes. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, is also assisting with the investigation. Experts suggest that the unique markings left by the fire by the firearm on the shell casings and bullets will help investigators pinpoint its origin and track its history. This crucial evidence is being uploaded into a specialized database for further analysis. We also have governor's condolences. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz were where United Healthcare is based, expressed his condolences to Thompson's family and colleagues. He called the shooting a horrible tragedy and promised that law enforcement would work tirelessly to bring the responsible party to justice. The state is working in close cooperation and federal agencies in the ongoing investigation. Senator Amy and Klobuchar, and Representative Dean Phillips, both from Minnesota, also reacted to the shocking news. Klobuchar called the attack a horrifying and shocking act of violence, while Phillips expressed his disbelief and offered prayers for Thompson's family. Well, as authorities continue to search for the gunman, questions remain about the motive behind the tragic killing. So the shooting has sent shockwaves for sure through both the healthcare and business communities, leaving many to wonder how such a brazen act could have taken place in the heart of New York City. The investigation remains ongoing, and we will continue to bring you updates on this developing story. But now, Sam, if you have more news, please, yeah, you can please proceed.
Yeah, I do have, and thank you so much, Napasa, for letting us aware of this very shocking and very, news. So I think, yeah, I also have some of the latest news updates that I would like to read it out. That is, firstly, Trump's tariff threat raises concerns in Canada and Mexico. So, Trump promised to impose tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China to curb immigration, and drug trafficking has sparked concerns from the affected countries, which warn that the tariffs could harm their economies. Moving ahead with my next news, that is US universities advise international students amid Trump transition. So, with President Donald Trump set to take office in January 2025, several US universities have advised international students to return before his inauguration due to potential policy changes, including restrictions on visas and concerns over deportations. So, I think this is a very big concern that we all need to be aware of. Moving ahead with USCIS seeks feedback on adjustment of status filling experience. USCIS is conducting online feedback sessions for individuals who have filed or are planning to file Form I-485 application to register permanent residents. The session aims to improve the online filling experience. With next news, that is Canada's immigration minister plans new reforms. Immigration Minister Mark Miller has announced that plans for upcoming reforms in Canada's immigration and asylum system. And these changes are expected to address labor shortages and streamline the immigration policies. So I think that's all, we can cover about news updates. And now I think it's time to come back to our today's very exciting topic that we are going to talk in today's session. And yeah, Napasa, so what do you think about today's session? I mean, what our viewers should get from today's episode? What do you think? What should we expect? Napasa,
Interesting.
yeah, I'm sorry,
Can you
you
hear
were
me
on
now?
mute. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying, it's going to be an interesting one today as well, and we have been discussing this over, in the past couple of weeks as well, especially before the elections, during the elections, and even after the elections. And
Mhm.
today we are going to, discuss further on Trump versus Biden, comparing their immigration and job policies, and as the United States approaches, another reign by Trump start January 2025, I think it's really essential to also reflect on how the two major political figures, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, have shaped the nation's immigration and job policies.
Right.
So today we are going to discuss on both with regard to immigration and also with regard to jobs. And I think both of them, they have left a significant mark, but with very different approaches and priorities. So today in this episode, we are going to dive deeper into all of these, a few of these strategies from the both of them, and compare their achievements as well, and explore the impact of their policies on the American workforce and also the immigrant communities. So it's going to be interesting, and also maybe as we discuss, we can also see maybe as to what we can expect in the coming
Mhm.
year.
Absolutely. And, Nepasa, I think today the topic that we are going to, dive deep into a very contrasting immigration and jobs policy of two of the most talked about figures in US politics, that is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And especially, folks, when it comes to immigration and jobs policies, I think Trump and Biden have a very different approach as compared to each other. They have a very different approaches, and Trump's presidency is like marked by strict immigration policies like limiting H-1B visas, then advocating for merit-based immigration, aiming to prioritize American workers and hire Americans first. And in contrast, if we see the Biden's immigration policies. Then his approach is more to seek expand opportunities for immigrants, particularly skilled workers, and also balancing job creations for Americans. As so, if we compare their policies, then we get to know that there is a huge difference in how each administration views the role of immigration in shaping the U.S. economy, workforce, and I think overall national strategy, how it will be. So I think today we are going to know how do they differ and what impact have their policies had on different industries like technology, healthcare, and also beyond. So I think, yeah, now it's time to start, and let's begin firstly by understanding Trump's immigration policies. So yes. So firstly, Trump's immigration policy, we mostly have seen tougher border control. And I think this is one of the most iconic campaign promises that was construction of a border wall between the US and Mexico. And Trump's administration actually allocated billions to build parts of the wall. And it was about 450 miles of border walls that was completed by 2020. So, border enforcement became stricter with policies like zero tolerance that also lead to increased arrest and family separations. And his administration also increased border patrols, then built parts of border walls, and also enacted, policies like remain in Mexico, which required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico until their claims were processed. And there was also another policy that was introduced by Trump, that was travel bans. So this is a very common policy that we know and was one of the most controversial aspects of Trump's presidency as well. That was travel ban. That was starting with the Muslim ban, which actually limited immigration from several Muslim majority countries. And also, if we talk about H-1B visa restrictions, then come on, how can we forget this? It's one of the most important and the most controversial topic that Trump has introduced. And Trump pushed for reducing the number of H-1B visas that was granted to skilled workers, especially in tech industries. He also argued that US workers were being displaced by cheaper foreign labor. And he also had this thing in mind that maybe US foreign workers are not being able to get the opportunities that they deserve. So I don't know how it is going to be, but also if we talk about impact on tech, then the Silicon Valley, the tech giants that we all are very much familiar with, like Google and Facebook, so they expressed concerns as the number of H-1B approvals declined. So in 2019, we can see that only 21% of H-1B applications were approved compared to 60% in 2016. So there's a huge difference of how Trump rule and how Biden's rule. So we can see a huge difference in H-1B applications were approved. And this actually led many highly skilled workers to seek opportunities in countries with more open immigration policies. And also, in 2020, we can say that several Indian tech workers on H-1B visas were actually forced to leave after charges to visa extensions and processing delays. So these policies actually hurt companies in tech and healthcare, which completely rely heavily on foreign talent. So, Napasa, also, I would like to know your point of view that mostly we have seen, right, that how Trump actually put a ban on H-1B workers, and we don't know how 2025 is going to be for immigrants. But do you think that the future of specifically for immigrants, and is it going to be tough or is it going to be challenging? I mean, how the process will look like? What's your opinion in this?
I think it's going to be a mixed, but as long as you're on the right path, you're not doing anything illegal, you're not doing anything unethical, I think you're on the safe side. And as far as your American dream is concerned, if you are really, um, if you really want to go live that dream, I think you would do anything to be there, right? So, yes, absolutely. I think it's all positive. I think we can all look forward to a lot of positivity coming ahead. But, I mean, before we talk further on this topic, Sam, I just wanted to say to all folks out there, you can also join our discussion. Please check out the link. We have pinned it in the comment section. You can join us here, and you can join on video. You can off your video, or you can just call us on this number 425-436-6335. And when they ask for the access code, dial this number 988-888 and just say hello. We'll be able to hear you. So join us on this discussion. Today we are discussing on Trump versus Biden, comparing their immigration and job policies. And maybe you could also tell us what do you think is going to be under Trump's second rule. And yes, we also have Kiran with comments on YouTube, and I think I would like to read them before we move ahead,
Yeah, sure.
talking further on the topic. So
Mhm.
Kiran is saying, when it comes to Trump's America first immigration stance, there's a lot to talk about border security and the reduction of illegal immigration. That's right. How does that affect the availability of jobs for American workers, and what's the real impact on industries that depend on immigrant labor? Do you have anything to say about this, Sam?
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, that everything is going to be positive. Well, I'm not very much sure because, when I understood the first Trump 1.0 administration, then we already saw that, there were huge restrictions. And obviously, Trump is America first, and that's nothing wrong in that. But, if we see in terms of how the foreign workers will get the opportunity in future, then I think there will be a lot of challenges. There will be scrutiny. There will be the process how it used to be for the immigrants. It's going to be tougher this time, and it's really going to be hard and difficult. So yeah, I think, Kiran, you have a the question that you are asking, that how is it going to affect the availability of jobs for American workers. Then I think, for foreign workers, I think it's going to be very difficult, and for American workers, obviously, it's going to be not difficult. It's going to be simplified for them, because I think Trump obviously wants U.S. people, right, to work in that tech department or in that particular company. So I think, yeah, that's how from my end it's going to be, and what the real impact on industries that depend on immigrant labor. So I think, I don't have much information on this particular thing, but yeah, that's all. I think that's all I can say from my end. And anything, Napasa, that you would like to add on in this particular comment?
Yes, I can say President Donald Trump's immigration policies were grounded with the idea of America first, protecting American interests and securing the nation's borders. So his approach was pragmatic, aiming to ensure safety, security, and fairness to US citizens, which is, I think nobody can be more fair than that. That's the most right thing any president can do for their nation, right? And talking about the key points, then I think, yes, so, sorry. Strong border security, that is going to be very good, right? Trump's administration made border security a top priority, and is, I'm sure, going to make it one of their top priorities in the coming year as well. So, with a focus on enforcing existing laws and building physical barriers along the southern border, well, his commitment to building the wall was a bold move for sure, and to address illegal immigration, that is. So, a key issue for his supporters for sure. And he successfully increased funding for border enforcement, ensuring US Customs and Border Protection, that is CBP, and had the resources to protect the nation. And I'm sure he's going to continue doing this, and talk about merit-based immigration system as well. So one of the hallmarks of Trump's immigration policy was, you know, he his push for a merit-based immigration system. And I think he believed that immigration should prioritize those who can contribute to the economy, right? And there's nothing wrong in that. I don't know how can we argue against Trump on this. So particularly skilled workers, so which would reduce strain on social services and also provide better opportunities for Americans. And apart from that, of course, him being, I mean, he and his team being very tough on illegal immigration.
Right.
Well, under Trump, you were talking about zero tolerance, what you already have mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, illegal immigration resulting in quicker deportation and stronger deterrence as well. So I know it's a little controversial sometimes, but this strategy, was aimed to reducing illegal crossings
Right.
and ensuring that those who entered the US did so through legal challenges. And again, I don't see anything wrong in that. And then,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, the America First policy, once again, so
Mm-hmm.
he sought to protect American workers from the competition of illegal labor. So he
Right.
restricted immigration programs like the H-1B visa to ensure that jobs remained available to US citizens, ensuring that American workers were given priority first.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything wrong in that?
Absolutely
Nothing.
not. I think that's great. That's how a leader should be. And I think that's how, exactly one should look for, because he's obviously I mean, I would say he's the one, who is going to take care of everything, how America is going to be in future. So I think it's not only about the immigrants, it's also about their particular family members. It's because if they are their country members, he's actually considering them as their family members. That's why he's being protective. That's why he being little concerned about all these things. So I think if he's putting ban on illegal immigrants, and if he's trying to favor more of their country people, I literally don't find anything wrong with this. And I think it's very strong, and I think it's very strong approach, towards his country, how he's taking. Whereas, Napasa, if we compare Trump's immigration policies to Biden's immigration policy, then it was completely opposite. So I
Right.
would also like to, highlight Biden's immigration policies too, as that is also our topic for today.
Sure.
So yeah, Biden policy was actually more worked to reverse many of Trump's hardline immigration policies, and he ended the Remain in Mexico policy and lifted the travel bans and halted the construction of border wall. So in Nepasa, we can see it's completely opposite, how Trump literally tried so hard, to uh, implement the Remain in Mexico. What Biden literally ended that. Then he also lifted the travel ban. Then he halted the construction of the border wall. So I think he was completely opposite, and Biden tried to have a very different approach rather than this. I think Nepasa, Biden is more into immigrants, right? He is trying to uh, welcome more and more immigrants, and
Also illegal immigrants, right?
that's something I wouldn't say, but he's more focusing on pathways, to citizenship. He also likes DACA, and that was known as Dreamers. So he also tried to create a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, absolutely like DACA. So
Mhm.
he proposed a bill that would allow undocumented immigrants to apply for citizenship. Now that is something that's something completely depend upon how the illegal immigrants are going to utilize this opportunity. Some illegal immigrants are actually misusing this opportunity, and some illegal immigrants are actually utilizing these opportunities. But as we say that if you're in a country, you have to follow a proper law. You have to be full of full legal identity. You should have your documents. And that's how Trump is focusing, right? Trump is just mentioning that if you are documented, if you have a legal status, if you have all the documents that's important for you to call yourself a legal citizen, then I think that's okay. Continue to live in US. There's no hurdle, or there's nothing stopping you, right? I think it's only the legal status that's bothering here in this thing. And also, I would like to say that Biden immigration policy was also trying to expand the H-1B visa. So, unlike Trump, obviously Biden has supported expanding the H-1B visas program, to bring in more skilled workers to fill positions in industries like tech, healthcare, and engineering. And he also believes that foreign workers are crucial for American innovation and job creation. But Nepasa, here if we see, then there's a very different approach. Trump obviously trying to have hire Americans first, and that we already talked about. And Biden is completely opposite to it. He is favoring more to foreign workers. But I don't find anything wrong in Trump's approach because right. Obviously, if he is not going to favor his citizens, then who is going to favor the actual US workers? And next up, I would like to also talk about family reunification. So, Biden has actually emphasized family based immigration and the importance of keeping families together. So, his policies actually seek to reduce the number of family separations that occurred during Trump's presidency. And under Biden, also, some healthcare workers, especially those on H-1B visas, were able to remain in the US despite the challenges posed by COVID 19. So many worked on the front lines. They helped combat the pandemic, and Biden's policies, ensured that these workers could stay and continue their critical roles. So I think this is how Biden's immigration policies were. And anything else, Nepasa, that you would like to highlight or you would like to share with our audience about how Biden's immigration policies were?
Yes, you've already highlighted quite a few, and I can just add on to those very similar points. So, of course, you spoke about relaxing border enforcement, and then I would like to say about talk about increased refugee admissions, during Biden's administration. So, Biden had increased the cap on refugee admissions, aiming for a more welcoming approach. But then this policy had faced opposition from those who feel it compromises national security and takes resources away from US citizens. And also, there was a pathway to citizenship, where Biden had pushed for a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and has advocated for comprehensive immigration reform. So some people, some folks out there, they praise this as an act of compassion, but has raised concerns, among those who feel that it might undermine U.S. sovereignty and security. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's that. And you already spoke about relaxing border enforcement. So critics argue that Biden's policies are less effective in controlling illegal immigration compared to Trump's firm stance.
Absolutely. And Nipasa, we also have one of our viewer whose name is Asad. So Asad, first of all, welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, and we would love to have you with us on this very great platform. So you can't just comment us, but the great thing is you can also join us on this session, by clicking on the link that has been mentioned in the chat section. You just have to click that link and you will be here with us. And even if you're not comfortable like joining us on video call, you can also dial the given number, that is 425-4366335, with the access code that is 988888. So Asad, we are literally waiting for you to know your point of view, to know your information. So please go ahead and let us know your information, all the your ideologies. How do you think, who is better, Trump or Biden? How Trump is different from Biden, and what are their different ideologies? So we would love to have that. And yeah, I think Napasa, right, we are waiting for Assad, and we would literally want him to join us in this great session and have this great conversation together, right?
Absolutely. Asad, we also have Bhavini, and also Kiran. You can join us. We are here. I think we should take up Bhavini's comments as well. So I'll read them.
Mhm.
Just after taking office, US President Joe Biden vowed to put an end to what he termed the moral and ethical shame of Donald Trump's immigration policies. The Trump administration had adopted a strict border policy, and the Biden White House promised a more humane approach. So, what do you have to say to that? I think Bhavini, we I'm not sure about how humane or how ethical it was, moral or ethical, or on even Biden's path. Do you think? Do you think Joe Biden was really, uh, you know, moral and ethical? With his with his lenient ways, I would say. And do you think it was, he was being protective, or did he create more chaos? Just keeping in mind that he would want to really go against Trump's policies and change all of that while he's on rule.
I think this is a mixed answer to this question. It's not exactly how it's going to be, but I think he also see some on the other. He's obviously a politician, right? And I think he needs to be smart enough to convince people, to influence people. So I think in his last presidency, he tried his level best, but some on the other, due to inflation, due to house rent increasing, I think due to all these things, people of US, they understood that it's not only about sweet words, but they need to look for the work that the president or the administration is actually giving them. So I think that's also a reason why they chose Trump instead of Joe Biden, because if
Mhm.
the people, they would be so much influenced, or they would be having trust with Joe Biden, then I don't think that 2024 election will be won by Trump, right? So
Exactly.
I think Biden tried his level best. I won't say that he didn't. He tried, but I think Trump played better as compared to
Yes,
Biden. Yeah, right.
definitely. And I think the results say it all. The nation says say it all. I mean, the whole nation together, they voted for Trump to
And that too with
win.
a huge number.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah, it was
Exactly.
something, one party has to win, need to get 270 votes. But I think Trump administration, they got more than 300 somewhere. So that's a huge number, that we can
Yeah.
see in US presidential 2024. So I think we know, right, that how people out there, they actually felt. It's not only about the words that they are going to understand, because if you are going to judge only by words, then I think Trump is going to be on your least candidate,
Mhm.
because he literally is very blunt and very confident and very strong, right? He doesn't have a second thought what he's going to say. He just keeps on just put his statement on the floor, and I think that's what makes him very different from other leaders. So yeah, I think because also he worked for US people. He tried his level best to make America great again, as what he says. And that's why he won with a great number of majority, and that's why people are liking him, and people are literally seeing a great leader in him. So I think that's how it should be, right, Napasa?
Yes, absolutely. And coming back to, I mean, since the topic is Trump versus Biden and their policies, so I mean, comparing them both with regard to immigration, Trump's strong border security policies, along with his merit-based immigration system, prioritize the safety of American citizens and also aim to protect American jobs by limiting the flow of illegal labor. And his policies were firm but effective in ensuring that US interests came first. And talk about Biden on the other hand, he has focused on creating a pathway to citizenship, offering more lenient immigration policies, but without the strong enforcement Trump championed. So this difference has definitely led to challenges in managing the surge of illegal immigration. And when you talk about jobs, Trump's pro business policies, including tax cuts, deregulation, and an America First trade agenda, led to job growth, first off, and
Yeah.
then also a strong economy. And his policies supported the American worker, creating millions of jobs and also fostering record low unemployment. So, which is a very, very positive thing, I think. And on the other hand, Biden has focused more on social safety nets and yes, if you remember, American Rescue Plan and green job creation. You
Yeah.
know, these policies may offer some long term benefits, but critics argue that they lack the immediate impact and focus on American workers that Trump's policies delivered. So I think Trump's policies in both immigration and jobs were geared towards strengthening American security and
Mm.
also sovereignty and job growth. So I think his administration saw, a remarkable economic growth with an emphasis on securing a prosperous future for US citizens. And I'm sure, he's going to come stronger on this note. And America, like you said, is going to be great again. Already
I
great, even going to be greater.
Yeah, absolutely. It is great. And I think under Trump's administration, we are definitely going to see so many different changes in policies. But I think that will benefit Americans a lot. And that's how, America is going to be great again. But all right. So, also, I would also like to talk about jobs policies of Trump. So, firstly, I would like to talk about tax cuts and deregulation. So, Nepasa, you also mentioned, but I would also like to say that yes, Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts that was on 2017, that was central to Trump's economic policy, and that actually reduced corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%, and which was intended to stimulate business investment and job creation. And if we talk about deregulation, then I think his administration focused heavily on deregulation, and they tried to reduce federal oversight in industries such as energy and manufacturing, that they particularly aim to reduce the cost of doing businesses and spur job growth. Also, moving ahead, if we talk about trade policy, then I think Trump emphasized protectionist trade policies like renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCE, and also imposing, tariffs on Chinese goods that particularly aim at boosting domestic manufacturing. So, while this was meant to protect US jobs, I think, particularly in manufacturing, critics also argue that it could lead to increased costs for US consumers and businesses, but that's how all the trade policy went. And also, Trump focused more on blue collar jobs. So Trump's policy focused on reviving manufacturing, coal, and other traditional industries too. He also tried to push for expanding the domestic energy production, as he's more focusing to reduce the cost of American workers, by implementing more and more domestic energy production, like including fossil fuels, which he believed that is definitely going to create jobs for them. And also, his administration, limited the scope of labor protections and weakened unions, and believing that this would give businesses more flexibility in hiring. So I think, yeah, this was some of the jobs policies from Donald Trump's side. And moving ahead, I would also like to talk about Joe Biden's jobs policy. So, firstly, it's going to be infrastructure and green jobs. So, yeah, Biden's signature legislation actually focused more on infrastructure investment and jobs act. So he actually commits trillions to rebuild roads, bridges, and other infrastructure that what we can see right now. So he also emphasizes that this would create, millions of jobs in construction, transportation, and also clean energy sectors. So clean
Hi,
energy.
Sam and Epasa.
Oh, hi, Rajni. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. So, actually, okay, somebody commented, I think, how can Trump's policy affect employment-based green cards, freelance mastery? I think we already have taken this question and asked from our attorneys, right?
Yes.
So, freelance mastery, we have a lot of shows that we have done with the attorneys. You can click on some of the shows and watch those shows and to get the answer of this question. I think they'll be more helpful for you to get the answer to this question. But but yeah, I think it's going to be good under Trump's administration, is what I feel. But there was one question, Nepasa and Sam, which was about, I think, from Bhavini, and Bhavini actually has had posted about moral and ethical. Just after taking office, U.S. President Joe Biden vowed to put an end to what he termed the moral and ethical shame of Donald Trump's immigration policies. So now that we are talking about moral and ethical, so I wanted to take a moment and wanted to discuss with you about what do you think about President Biden pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. What do you think about that? Because he issued. I'm sure you must have read about that letter that he issued on social media, and he said he's going to pardon Hunter Biden after all the accusation and everything. So, what do you have to say about that? Maybe Sam or Nipa?
Is that even moral? I mean, that is
Yeah.
so biased, like openly biased. I mean, it's just not fair, right? And talking about moral and ethical, like I said earlier, I don't know, especially after all of that and what it really says, putting a shame to Donald Trump's immigration policies. I think Biden took it very seriously to get against Donald Trump's policies and change it all. So I think that's what he tried to do. And
Mhm.
yeah, and we
Yeah,
saw
I
how much
mean,
chaos it created. And we've seen, like, though, I mean, it was 2021, right? Pandemic, but
mhm.
still, like, I think doesn't really like, what do I say? I don't know if it is moral or ethical. And talk about Hunter Biden, I'm sure many folks out there will have a are having a problem or so much to say, because maybe their own case is also similar to Hunter Biden's.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Because I think what Joe see the Democrats and especially Joe Biden, they have always they have had an image, and or at least they have projected an image of being holier than thou, right? And now, after pardoning his own son, I mean, I'm not saying that the presidents in the past have not done this for their family members, but then he promised and he said that he is not going to do this because he believes in the US law, and he abides by the US law, and he trusts and he has faith in the US law. It's going to do everything what the US law will say or will do. But then now, because he knows that he's no longer going to be the president
Yeah.
starting January, right? And even I think Hunter Biden, he was supposed to, when was his hearing? I think his hearing was supposed to be at the end of December, if I'm not wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just when the sentencing or the hearing was supposed to happen, he goes ahead and he says, "I am deciding to pardon my son." So now whatever crimes Hunter has committed, and if we talk about Hunter's crime, I mean, there are so many things to talk about that, right? Uh, I don't know. I think it will take us more than an hour or a day to discuss
Yeah.
what he has been convicted of. He actually he had been facing sentencing for federal firearm offenses,
Mm-hmm.
tax-related convictions. So there are so many things actually. He was
Fraud for failing to pay over $1.4 million in taxes,
right. No,
right?
yeah, absolute tax evasion. Tax evasion. Yes, he has done that. And I think in June 2024, he was convicted for illegal possession of a firearm, right? While being a drug abuser also.
Yeah.
And then everybody knows what was there in his laptop, all those things. So everybody knows about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think ZQ here has commented that courts all over the world pardon all those who come in the power. It's a fact. I mean, see, this of course, and especially in the US. I'm not sure if it happens in all of the world,
Mm-hmm.
but it happens in US in most of the countries, but not all over the world. ZQ is what I would like to say here. But I think, see, again, this is this sounds like a joke because you say that you believe in the law and you are going to do everything that the law says, and then just when the hearing was supposed to happen, then you go ahead and pardon your son, your own son. Then what does it say about what you believe in and what you stand for?
Yes, him as a
Absolutely.
president. Yeah. I
Actually,
mean,
I would, yeah, exactly. And I would like to share, it's a little controversial. I don't know if I should share this or not, but because this is an open platform and everybody has the freedom to share, and this is not what I'm saying, this is actually was said by Cash Patel. So I would like to actually ask the control if he can say this after, okay, am I breaking up?
Yeah, a bit.
I think it's because of the lag.
But that's okay. That's okay.
So
Yeah,
I
we
have,
can. We understand.
yeah, control if we can show that image, on Truth Social. So Cash Patel actually posted something and he wrote something after Joe Biden decided to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. So this is a very controversial statement, is what he posted. So I'm going to share it over here.
Hmm.
When was the last time you snorted some crack? And see, you can read it for yourself, right? And then this is what he said from his official
payment
account on
two
Truth
women for
Social.
sex, one of which was your dead brother's wife. Oh my goodness. Then slept with his sister. Well,
Oh my God.
So, I mean, see, Trump has really fierce people, uh, and in his administration, they don't fear from no one, right? And they say
Hmm.
what's out there, and they don't hold it back. So, yeah, I think there's actually a lot to talk about this. So now, when I actually read the comment about moral policing Trump, right? So that's
yeah.
when it actually struck me, and I was thinking about this, him pardoning his son. Then I thought, okay, uh, like, is he even allowed to say all these things? I mean, it's obviously this thing has recently happened. I mean, he recently has pardoned, but then of course. You must have had these things in the back of your mind, because if things will not work in your favor, then you are going to take a step and you're going to do this, right? And
Hmm.
then you should at least, what you have said, you should at least stand for that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And like, okay, he may be like a dad, maybe he pardons his son like as a dad, but as a
Mhm.
president, he is a criminal, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How can there be an excuse for not just, I mean, one crime? It's like a list of crimes, a list of illegal activities, a list of
But
immoral acts.
yeah,
Mhm.
I would like to ask one thing, that this was the crime done by obviously Biden's son. But what if this the same list of crimes would be done by Trump's son? Then what do you guys think that how Trump is going to react on this?
It's not like that Trump has not pardoned in the past. He also
He
has.
has.
But that's
Not his
what, like,
son.
Trump is.
I think, if I'm not wrong, control. If you can please look, I think it was his daughter's father-in-law, or
Somewhere close to
yeah, one of his
relative.
relative. Yeah,
Relative.
but the thing is, but the thing is, he doesn't say that he's not going to do all these things.
Mm.
He
Absolutely.
doesn't say that he has that image, or he's going to be all that, that great men, or
Positive
good
approach.
men, yeah, like that. Or he's not,
Earlier
he
than
never said
now.
that he's going to do that, right? But then you
Yeah.
always have stood for so many good things, and you have always said that you have faith in the U.S. judiciary and U.S. law, and you're going to stand for that. And you also promised the public, the people of America, that you are not going to pardon your son. And just when things didn't work on your favor, you went ahead and you pardoned your son. So that's a joke.
Mm.
So I don't know, how the Americans reacted to this, but yeah, this is something, I mean, this should be talked about, and this should be thought about. What do you think, guys?
Absolutely. It's very
I,
personal, and I
I
think
think ZQ has already said what it really is. Courts all over the world pardon all those who come into power. It's a farce. The political scenario is a joke.
That's
I'm
right.
sure like every country is different, but I totally know what I understand what you mean. But talk about America. I think we have the jury, the of course the different courts of law. Um, I
I think
like
somebody has joined us, right? I can see Deep
oh yeah,
State. So,
Deeps.
hi, Deep State. Can
Oh,
you hear us?
control. Can you find out who's that? And
Hi, Deep State. Can you hear us? I think
Sam,
you.
one second.
Uh-huh.
Control. Can you please find out who? Hi, may I? Can we please know your name?
No, no, he left.
no,
Right.
it's
I think he's trying to rejoin, but let's see.
all right. What was it? Deep state.
Yeah, Deep State.
Okay. I
Yeah,
really
that.
hope he joins back. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
All right. How come we? I think Rajni. If Rajni is there, or I think she also somehow got disconnected.
Mhm.
Oh, right, she's there.
Yeah, so I think we were already talking about, and we already touched a lot and lot of different topics in today's session. So I think, yeah, we literally had a lovely discussion, and we would love if, Deep State will also join us and make this conversation even much better. So yeah, I think yeah, Napasa. So any as we were already talking about Joe Biden's jobs policies. So I think let's continue, and I would like to talk about like how government spending and stimulus. So Biden's economic plans were actually including, some significant government intervention through stimulus packages like the American Rescue Plan. So this actually tried to provide direct relief to families, businesses, and states. So we can see that how much Biden actually tried his level best to help the families, businesses, and also states. And these measures were actually designed to stimulate demand and protect jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic. And he also tried, to focus more on government-led investment in sectors like healthcare, education, and childcare that basically aims to create long-term job growth and for middle-class families. So, Nabasa, we can also see that Biden also tried, to help Americans. And Trump is obviously he is helping, and he's definitely going to come up with a more strong agenda this time. But
Mhm.
I'm still thinking that how people of US, they are actually understanding the difference between Trump's administration policies and Biden's administration policies. So they are also a bit curious, they are also a bit cautious, not only the illegal immigrants but also the legal immigrants. So do you think that the Trump's era is going to shed some kind of impact on the legal immigrants if we talk specifically for the legal ones?
Mm, well, I'm sure there's going to be, and sorry, I was just reading a message, but of course, like yes, coming back to what you were saying, um, it is. I don't. I'm sure like he's going to prioritize in protecting America first. So maybe just securing the borders first, having a strict scrutiny on illegal immigrants. And I'm not sure if it's going to really affect legal immigrants, like you just said just now. And it's not going to be easy. Of course, like we've been hearing, like mass deportation, the greatest mass deportation in the history of America and all that. But I don't think it's going to be all of a sudden, and it cannot. I mean, if one is legally present doing nothing wrong in the country, I'm sure like nobody can just chase that person out just like that. So
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything to be worried about that way, Sam.
Yeah, I think that's completely correct, and that's what I was waiting to hear that. But you already mentioned, so I think it's great, and I think that's how our audience should also know that if you have proper documents, if you are properly updated and aware of all the news. Policies that's been implementing, so I think with that the legal immigrants are completely safe. There's not going to happen anything to them, and that's how Trump's policies is going to be. So also moving ahead, if we talk, I mean, if we look on the key differences, then I think, folks, we can talk about how the DACA and the Dreamers, like Trump literally attempted, to end the DACA program, which offered actually protection to young immigrants who came to the US as children. And whereas Biden literally pushed to protect DACA recipients and create a pathway to citizen for dreamers. So on a person like DACA, we also know that it's for children, who came outside the US. So do you think that ending DACA from Trump's side, is it fine, or what are your views in this? Because Biden supported DACA, he wanted DACA to be there, whereas Trump tried to end DACA. So, what do you think that is Trump literally? I mean, is Trump is going to help in this way to make America great again by ending DACA?
Well, he's saying a lot of things. He's going to end a lot of things. I mean, talk about DACA. It was established under President Obama in 2012, to protect undocumented immigrants who came to the US as children, and often referred to as dreamers, right? So it
Mhm.
allowed them to live and work in the US temporarily without the fear of deportation. And here again, I would like to emphasize on temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay, so under President Trump, DACA faced significant challenges, of course, and 2017, in the first Trump's reign.
Mhm.
In September 2017, President Trump announced that his administration would end the DACA program, right, claiming it was an overreach by Obama administration,
Right.
and it led to widespread legal and public backlash.
Mhm.
And the legal battles were there, of course. The decision to end DACA fought in court, and it led to numerous legal battles, even with the Supreme Court, eventually ruling in June 2020 that the Trump administration's attempt to end DACA was arbitrary and capricious.
Mhm.
So it also violated federal law, but Trump's administration did manage to significantly limit DACA by restricting renewals and halting new applications. And I think when DACA was created. Once again, I would like to emphasize it was temporary. So I'm sure the dreamers had to look for a permanent solution to their temporariness, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sure like Trump's stance on DACA was largely about limiting immigration, particularly from these undocumented individuals, right? But he also signaled a desire to reach a deal that would offer pathways to citizenship for dreamers. So, through the terms where, often tough and tied to border security measures, which created significant gridlocks in negotiations. So, I think Trump's approach to DACA was characterized by efforts to end it or to limit the program. And but then it's not like the dreamers didn't know that it was temporary. It was not a permanent solution to them. DACA is not a
Absolutely.
permanent solution to them, right? So,
That's how I think they try to misuse it, because I think if someone is going to give you asylum, or someone is going to tell you that you are here for some temporary purpose, then that's obviously in their the victim's mind, that obviously I can't be here as a permanent resident. I need to find out my permanent place, because I can't be here for forever. But that's the thing, that's the issue, that why Trump actually tried to end DACA, because he saw that yes, it's going to be. I mean, people are misusing this thing, and it's a very sensitive thing. It's a dreamer kind of thing, and it's specifically for children. But even if now, I think you need to be very much strict. You need to be very much strong, to protect your country. So I think if he would be little emotional, he would be little sensitive, then he's not going to protect Americans, and he's not going to definitely become a great leader again. So I think, yeah, that's all from my end. And I think, yeah, we have touched numerous topics and about today's session. So yeah, and we also like to talk about, I mean, I just want to sum it up by saying that, friends, the difference between the Trump and Biden's immigration and jobs policies are stark, and but both have had a significant impact on the US economy and its labor force too. So while Trump's policy were more restrictive, and we saw that he's more focusing on the border control and obviously trying to limit the illegal immigrants, whereas Biden has focused more on creating a more inclusive approach and try to expand the opportunities for immigrants and skilled workers too. So I think this discussion will keep on going, and it's clear that that the direction chosen by the U.S. government will shape the economy and workforce for years to come. So yeah, I think that's all from my end, Napasa. And any last message that you would like to share with our viewers?
They've been very different, and they have different philosophies, different approaches to governance. But yes, Trump's bold America First policies have left a lasting impact on the
Right.
economy, job growth, and national security. So his focus on protecting American interests has shaped his stance on both immigration and the economy, ensuring that American citizens are always the priority. So I think we that is something to keep in mind. And of course, the future of these policies is still unfolding, and it'll keep on unfolding in the each day, because every day there's a new update, there's a new thing about Trump. And we are looking forward for 2025, when Trump is going to go to the office. And yes, I think there's a lot to look forward to. And yeah, as we approach all of these things in the future, thank you so much. And of course, don't forget to stay with us, because this is where you will keep on getting a lot of updates, latest updates on immigration and jobs. And of course, we have discussions like these. I mean, daily immigration dose every day, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Join us in these discussions, and it's going to be really great to discuss together, share different views together, different perspectives, and share what we all have to say on the different topics we discuss every day. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to us, especially if you resonated, and check out our different content that we have on our channel. I'm sure it's going to benefit you immensely, especially if you are an immigration enthusiast, or a dreamer, or you want to go live that American dream. If you're looking forward to go live in America. And yes, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great so far, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow already.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And also watch our daily immigration dose every day from Monday to Friday. So thank you so much, everyone. Me and Napasa are signing off for now.